want to share with you guys a very interesting way I was given a message through synchronicity. And this hits kind of deep, honestly. So for the past several months, I've been following this guy on Instagram. He's this homeless dude who has been roaming the streets, putting a video out every single day looking for this woman that he used to date. At first, I didn't really think much of it. He's constantly begging this woman, please talk to me. Please give me a chance to prove to you that I love you. And I started seeing this and I'm like, man, this dude, does this woman want to talk to him? And so I decided to really dig in and start researching, because he says her full name in like every video. So I found her Facebook page, and one of the last things she posted was the day that they got into a relationship, which was July 7th, 2017. And in the comments said, there was some lady saying, your relationship is with a married man. We fucked 6 times back in August. He told me I was the love of his life. You're just a side chick that he's getting high with. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now this is kind of starting to make sense, because another one of the things that he keeps repeating in these videos he puts out every day is, you're being deliberately blocked from me and being told lies about me. You're being told that I'm doing things that I couldn't dream of doing. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what he's talking about. Oh, okay. So I decided to start digging in deeper, because I'm like, man, I'm gonna hit this girl up and be like, hey, this dude's looking for you. Are you interested in talking to him? And after a quick Google search of her name, it turns out she passed away. So I've found at least 3 or 4 obituaries on Google, and there's an obituary on Facebook too, where the funeral home even put her obituary on their Facebook page. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't think I've ever seen that. But anyway, so I go to like try to get a hold of this dude, and I'm starting to look in the comments of his videos. He's been doing this for a year, every day, putting a video on Instagram of, begging this woman to talk to him every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. You go through his profile obsessively, at least once a day. Obsessively repeating the same script over and over and over. And you looking in the comments, everybody's sending him the links to these obituaries. I got in there and I started trying to be like, dude, she passed away, man. I've watched several other videos, and in some of the videos he even mentions, I was told that you died, but I have to believe you're alive. And in a couple other videos, he mentions that he has her ashes. So I'm putting together, I'm like, oh, wow. So this woman passed away 2 years ago in March of 2022. And he knows it. He has her ashes. Everybody is constantly bombarding him with links to her obituaries on different websites. And he is so grief-stricken that he absolutely refuses to believe that she's passed away. He's inventing this scenario in his mind that the whole town is plotting against him and keeping her from him, because he would rather believe that and spend his life desperately searching for her than to accept the fact that she's passed on. And I'm like, man, that is a miserable way to live your life, dude. So I spent a few days kind of going back and forth with him, and he even got pissed off and threatened me. and I feel so sorry for the poor guy. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to be mean, man. This is so sad to watch you put yourself through this, And then, here's where it gets interesting. I received a message from my biggest spiritual mentor, Naya. Let the humans play their game. That was one thing Naya was really, really big on. Naya from Naya's Corner of the Universe is responsible for probably 85 to 90% of my understanding that has developed into where I am spiritually. She was the biggest spiritual mentor I ever had on my path. She has a YouTube channel called Naya's Corner of the Universe. And it is, it's beyond an encyclopedia. It's a library of information. Anything, any question that you could possibly ask about who we are, who we really are as creator God beings in this dimension, the other side, where we're from, what we're doing here in this life. If there's a question that you could ever ask, it's on that YouTube channel somewhere. Because she had a near-death experience back in 2008, and she came back with full recall of everything that she learned on the other side. And she spent years putting everything on a YouTube channel. And then back in 2021, I was told that she passed away. Because we had this little YouTube community right before I started my YouTube channel. Before I started reading tarot. The year before I started reading tarot, I started my YouTube channel, and we were all a part of this little spiritual community on YouTube. And it was called Naya's Family Collective because, it formed through her and her YouTube channel. So one of the members of that community wrote me and said she passed away. Her daughter texted me. They did a little remembrance ceremony and whatnot. And here's where it gets interesting. There's a part of me that wonders if she is really alive. I have been digging and digging and digging since 2021, trying to find an obituary on her, and I can't find one anywhere. You see where this is kind of tying in and making this kind of interesting? There's this guy who is obviously inventing this crazy experience in his mind. And that's the experience he wants to have in this lifetime. I wouldn't even be able to process that concept if I didn't follow the advice of, her name is Yvonne Ballard. And her spiritual nickname was Naya, Naya. She would say, you have to let people play their game. Don't interfere with their game. They're going to fight you if you interfere with their game. And there's a part of me that has questioned, could she have possibly faked her own death? And I don't really want to unpack a lot of the thoughts behind why I think there's a possibility she could probably do that. Just maybe testing people or maybe performing a little experiment. I cannot find an obituary on this woman anywhere. Her name is Brenda Ballard. Brenda Yvonne Ballard. And she's from somewhere in East Texas. And, I've been digging through all of the Yvonne Ballard and Brenda Ballard obituaries for 4 years now. And I just find that interesting how those two things kind of come together and link up and connect. Where I would probably still be driving myself nuts trying to figure out how to help this dude if I didn't get a message from the other side. Remember what Naya said? Don't interfere with their game. Let them play their game. They're trying really, really, really hard to have this experience. It doesn't matter how crazy it looks. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it looks. Let them play their game. And I'm like, oh, wow. That fits in and is so synchronistic. It's insane, man. So once that hit me, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to let that guy create whatever game he wants to create. You know, I'm just going to step back and just watch him. I still care about the poor guy, man. I feel bad for him, dude. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't imagine if something happened to my wife. I can't promise you that my way of handling it would be better than the way he's handling it, just to put it lightly. But it's still sad to sit back and watch, you know. But I'm no longer going to interfere with him in his game. I'm just going to step back on the sidelines and check in on him from time to time and make sure he's doing okay. So anyway, I just figured that was something interesting that y'all might want to hear. Had to share that with you. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Stay blessed.